Yeah. I'm always ready when it's game time. Hustle in my blood, I'ma make mines. Where I'm trying to go, it's gonna take time. You can earn your respect, I'ma take mine. In that lane of my own, I'm in the zone.
Hello and welcome to Going the Distance. Well, last week we aired the first 3 stories of our top 6, your favorites. So in this episode, we'll continue with the next 3. Take a look. You know, most kids dream of playing for their favorite sports teams, and some, a small few, actually make it. New York Mets pitcher Steven Matz is one of them. But achieving his dream didn't come without its setbacks. After an arm injury put him on the bench for 2 years, he began questioning his purpose. And it wasn't until he reconnected with his faith that things began to snap back into place. Take a look.
He hits this one to center field. Hamilton going back. It's turned around, and it's over his head. 2 runs will score. Steven Matz with a double drives home a pair.
New York Mets pitcher Steven Matz is living his childhood dream. First, he's playing Major League Baseball. Secondly, his family has been Mets fans as long as he can remember.
It's really cool. You know, now that I'm kind of here, you're kind of entrenched in what you're doing, so the fan side of it's out. But for my family, it's huge. You know, just being a local guy, they get to read the papers, they read about me in the papers, and that's something that's really cool for them.
Steven grew up in a Christian home and confessed his faith in Christ as a boy. And he says making it to the majors is an answer to prayer.
Strike 3.
I remember when I was growing up, I prayed for like 3 things every day. And it was, please let no bad guys come into my house. It was, please let me date this girl. It was actually 4 things. Please let me become a Major League Baseball player, and please let me get this dog I wanted. And now everything came true, so it's kind of funny.
But as he got older, he was more interested in playing baseball than getting to know God.
It wasn't a relationship. It was more of like, you know, it was something that I couldn't get in contact with. It was, okay, you be a good person or whatever it is, and you'll be fine.
Meanwhile, Steven was drafted in 2009 out of high school and put in the Instructional League, the stage before the minors. But before he got a chance to pitch in his first professional game, he tore a tendon in his arm during practice and underwent surgery. Steven was unable to pitch for 2 years. He began to question if he still had the ability to achieve his dream.
And, you know, with all those expectations and stuff, there's just so much doubt that creeps in your head. And, you know, can I get healthy? When I get healthy, can I get the guys out, that, you know, professional hitters out? So there's just a lot that was going on at the time.
Steven was at an all-time low and didn't know how to pull himself up. But an invitation he received changed his perspective.
And someone invited me to a Bible study. And that Bible study, I'd heard really the gospel for the first time, just plain and simple.
With a better understanding of the gospel, Steven began building his relationship with the Lord. And he says this was God's plan all along.
It took me 2 years to come back. That second year was the year I was able to do Bible studies. So, you know, he used that time, and you know, he prepared my heart for that time to attend that Bible study. And she showed me a great church to go to, that same Bible study teacher, so it was awesome.
With a new relationship with Christ, Steven says his goals had changed.
And I just remember my mindset's just completely different. You know, when you, my identity is not in baseball anymore. Where back then my identity was baseball. Well, my identity is in Jesus now, and understanding what that's all about, just using this as a platform.
Steven threw his first pitch as a pro in 2012. 3 seasons later, he was finally called up to join the New York Mets in June 2015, where he helped them become National League champions and make it to the 2015 World Series.
You know, it was cool to get called up and be able to pitch at home. You know, I believe that God didn't take me through all that to end it right there. And, you know, it brought me back, and I was able to pitch in the World Series that year. And
now Steven is a Major League veteran who understands that even in a game where you can fail more than you succeed, what's important to remember is that through all the physical and mental stress of baseball, identity and strength can be found through a relationship with Jesus Christ.
When people see Steve Matz on the mound, what is it that you want them to see?
I just want them to see a fierce competitor. I want them to know I'm a Christian by the works that I do off the field, and not by so much on how I speak or whatever, but just by the way I act.
Welcome back. NASCAR driver Michael McDowell's life was all about being the first to cross the finish line. But when he saw it wasn't bringing him the fulfillment he desired, he realized there had to be more to this race called life. From CBN Sports, here's Andrew Knox.
Well, I feel like I've been racing my whole life. There was always something to do growing up as a racing family, and drive from Arizona to Charlotte to Chicago and race all over the country.
From as early as 8 years old, Michael McDowell's life revolved around BMX and go-kart racing.
There wasn't much outside of racing. When I'd get done with school, I'd come home and work on the go-kart or go to the shop. And if I did well in school, it's because I knew I had to go racing.
Michael's family supported him as he traveled around the country, then the world, racing go-karts. He later dropped out of high school to race full-time and coach other go-kart racers. By 16, he was driving full speed ahead towards his dream.
I always had this saying that no's not an option and there's no plan B. My ego and my pride was more of like, I can do this. Nobody can tell me I can't. Nothing was going to get in the way, not school, not people, not relationships. And I was willing to virtually do anything to advance my career.
But his laser focus to press forward in his career eventually led to discontentment.
There was a long period there where I was so focused on the next goal or the next achievement or the next step that I wasn't really enjoying the journey or the path. One week you win and the next week you don't. And you're only as good as your last week or your last win. You get caught chasing the next thing and the next thing.
At 18, Michael was living on his own, seeking sponsorships and racing whenever he could. His life revolved around racing and racing alone. It wasn't until he began working for motorsports business owner Ron Huber, a Christian, that he began to see something different.
He was able to really help me make introductions for those next steps in my career, and there was something attractive to just the way he loved his family and the way his family loved him. It was very impactful at a time in my life where, you know, I'm still fighting really hard to make it to the next steps, and I'm allowing myself to manipulate and to use people to help get to that next level. And then here I'm with a guy that is already successful, and the way that he's approaching relationships is, you know, what can I do for you rather than what can you do for me?
Michael worked with Ron for 3 years, but when Ron died in 2004, Michael had to take a hard look at his faith. There at the funeral, someone asked Michael what he thought about heaven.
So I said, yeah, Ron's in heaven and he's a good person. And that was kind of my answer. If you're good, you go to heaven. If you're not, then you don't. And it was really that simple to me. And he just said, what about you? Where are you at? And that question just wrecked me for the next month. Like every area of my life, I kept hearing, where are you at? Where are you at?
As Michael continued to wrestle with that question, he and his girlfriend Jamie were invited to church a month later. There, Michael heard about the free gift of salvation.
And in my world, that doesn't make sense, because I'm here because I earned it, because I worked hard. And when people were going off and partying, I was studying. And when people were having fun on the weekend, I was racing. And so now this guy's saying that you can't earn it, you can't buy it, you can't work for it. There's nothing that you do to deserve it, it's a free gift. And when he said that you can have a fresh start, I knew that I wanted it. It just shifted my world.
Jamie and Michael married, and his perspective began to change as he said yes to Christ. But in 2008, one particular race in Texas would put his new faith to the test.
I was a rookie in the NASCAR series, had this horrific crash. It's still what I'm known for. But it was a real shift in my faith journey because everybody wanted to talk to me. Every media outlet. As a rookie in the Cup Series, this was a great opportunity for me to build my brand and build my name. And am I gonna make myself known or am I gonna make him known? Really set me up for the next step, which was full surrender. And this is the platform. That's the platform that I have to share it. And it's not about me.
And that faithfulness paid off. Michael returned to NASCAR the next year and has continued racing professionally ever since. With one win and several top 10 finishes, he's become a household name in racing. Today, he shares his testimony publicly and attributes his success to Christ.
Michael McDowell leading at Daytona.
You know, being a race car driver, it's what I do. I love it, and I pursue it with everything I have because I know that God's provided it, but at the end of the day, it's just what I do. My identity is in Christ, so when people ask me who am I, I'm a follower of Christ. That's it.
Wow. You know, you never really know what platform God will give you to shine his light. You just have to be open and ready, because that's where the blessings are. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. NFL safety Shamarco Thomas is arguably one of the hardest working players in the league. I'm sure you're familiar with the term gym rat. Well, there's gym rats and then there's Shamarco Thomas. And many ask why he works so hard. Well, his answer is a simple one, derived from a troubled childhood that was fueled with anger. NFL safety Shamarco Thomas has built a reputation for himself as an aggressive, hard-hitting player with a work ethic that many would argue is second to none. His go-out-and-get-after-it attitude is one that he acquired growing up in Virginia Beach, Virginia, with his mom and 5 siblings. Describe what your mom was like. How do you remember your mother?
She was the ultimate leader. She was my father and my mom. My mom was different. She wasn't the mom that, oh, I love you type. She was that tough mom, oh, boy, you better get up, no crying type stuff.
Shamarco's mother, Ebeth, gave birth to him when she was 15. He didn't really know his father. Growing up, he saw things no child should have to witness.
My mom had boyfriends that I remember we used to hide out from them, stuff like that, you know. See my mom get burnt by iron by a dude.
Shamarco didn't trust men around his mother, so when she married Abdul Rahim Shabazz, he didn't like him. But over time, they slowly began to bond.
I think football brought us together, you know, and just seeing the way he treated my mom, taking her out on dates and stuff like that. I'd never seen that before with another man.
The family grew with the addition of his sister and 4 brothers. For him, life couldn't be better until his father violated his mother's trust.
He broke her heart, you know, cheated on my mom. And
did they separate?
Separated. My dad separated, yeah. He moved with the lady.
The first man Shamarco had ever trusted left his mother with 6 children to raise by herself, and he was furious.
And my mom working at McDowell's and stuff, you know, so I think that all the anger inside of me just built up, and I just started hanging around the wrong crowd and doing the wrong things. Honestly, I was telling my mom, oh, I'm gonna sell drugs, I'm gonna do stuff like that.
As he entered Ocean Lakes High School as a freshman football player, his mother was too busy with work to help keep him out of trouble. So he always seemed to find it.
So I was out there just trying to have fun and chill with my friends and fight.
And fight? You just wanted to fight?
Fight, man. I used to fight all the time, every day.
Why?
Just to get my anger out, you know?
His activities grabbed the attention of school faculty members Jim Prince and Chris Scott, Shamarco's football coaches, as well as Leslie Riccio, his guidance counselor, and Sergeant Adam Bernstein, the school's resource officer. And they all intervened to help him deal with his anger and the reasons behind it.
Instantly, I was drawn to him, and I thought, this kid is going to be my project for this year. I want to make him feel comfortable and kind of reward him for feeling comfortable with me without even knowing me.
He'd never let you in, but when he knew that you cared, then that's where things started to reveal themselves.
During that year, Shamarco had a few encounters with Sergeant Adam Bernstein, but one day after school, he caught Shamarco in a street brawl. The next day, called him down to his office.
I sat him down and I said, there's a lot of colleges out there that'll give you a free education if you use football and if you're good enough.
And he was like, I care about you and I want you to see you succeed. I feel like somebody really cares, especially an officer, you know. Where I'm coming from, you know, officers don't like us.
Now I read somewhere that both of you broke down and started crying. Is that true?
Yeah, I didn't want to say that.
Those words hit home for Shamarco. By his senior year, he was an honor roll student, was elected homecoming king, and set records for tackles, interceptions, and defensive touchdowns. He accepted a scholarship offer to play football for Syracuse University.
Sitting there, signing that paper, and veering to the left and seeing my mom cry, you know, a joy. You know, that's the first time I seen her cry of joy instead of pain. And that just changed my whole life.
When Shamarco arrived at Syracuse, he quickly built a reputation for his work ethic and hard-hitting style of play. But the spring of 2010 ushered in a season that would crush him harder than any hit he ever delivered on the field. And it began with a call he received from his mother.
My mom's like, your dad's dead. She crying on the phone. And I just start crying. I hang up the phone. I'm like, man, like, he's gone now. And I can't even say, like, I forgive you, you know? We all make mistakes in life.
Shamarco's stepfather was killed in a motorcycle accident. After his funeral, he returned to school. Though he was grieving, the pain he felt over his stepfather would pale in comparison to what was about to come just 9 months later.
My mom called me. She was just checking on me like some regular stuff. And, I'm trying to go party. Like, she was like, I just want to tell you I love you and you my chosen one, you know, and if anything happened to me, you know, I just want you to live out your dreams. And I'm like, I'm just throwing it off like, okay, Mom, you know, I got you.
The next day, Shamarco received a voicemail from his younger brother.
He's like, Mama gone. And man, I lost it.
Shamarco's mother died from a massive heart attack. He returned home as quick as he could to be strong for his 5 siblings. And he managed to do so until he went to view his mother's body.
It was only 2 seconds, but I couldn't sit in that room. I couldn't stay in that room. Man, that's my best friend. Like,
why couldn't you? Why couldn't you?
Because everything I did was for her. And, you know, and just to sit in that casket, not breathe no more, it's like, what I have left, you know? And I couldn't see it like that. I couldn't. Oh, I thought my life was over, you know. What was the point of me living? My mom's not here, you know? I want my mom to have a house, big house, car. Like this jewelry on this stuff, this don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean nothing to me. I'd rather have my mom here, you know? So, sitting in that casket is the most painful feeling in the world.
After the funeral, Shamarco considered giving up school and football to take care of his siblings. But Mrs. Riccio convinced him otherwise.
And I always said to him, and I still to this day say to him, is that what your mom would want you to do? And he thinks for a minute and he stops himself and he's like, she would not want me to quit school.
And at that moment, when she told me that, it was nothing else to say. It was nothing else to say. I was gonna get my butt back on that flight.
His grandmother agreed to take care of his siblings so that he could return to school. When he got there, he began looking for something to ease the pain in his heart. So he turned to some of his Christian teammates.
One day I just started getting interested in it. I just started watching. I'm like, man, let me go sit here and listen to them and talk about God and stuff. And then I started hearing the solutions and my answers and people as they was talking. That's when I realized I really had to find out who God was, you know? Like, can I believe in you? Because I ain't gonna lie, I started doubting. When my mom passed, I'm like, man, God don't love me at all. He can't love me. He can't love me. You put me through all this.
Shamarco learned that the only way to truly heal the pain in his heart was through a relationship with God. So one night, he began praying and committed his life to Jesus Christ.
I'm like, God, whatever your plan is and whatever you got planned for me, like, show me and I see, you know? I said, let your will be upon me.
Shamarco knew that he could lean on the Lord for strength as he continued to achieve his NFL dreams. And he worked harder than ever.
That was my mindset from that point on. Nobody's gonna outwork me. Y'all thought I worked hard then. Y'all gonna see now. I promise you, nobody outworked me. Nobody.
He had a stellar senior season at Syracuse, becoming one of the top safeties entering the 2013 NFL Draft, where he was selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And of course, Ms. Leslie, Coach Scott, and Sergeant Bernstein were there to hear his name called.
And we all cried. And it was a truly, truly special day to know that all of his hard work had finally paid off.
To say how proud I am, it cannot be put into words, but just tremendously thankful for him being an inspiration to us all.
I feel like I was a small part of it because I feel like he's always had it within him to be that. He just needed somebody to show him that he could.
Today, Shamarco was with the Denver Broncos. He's married and has kids of his own. And his work ethic hasn't changed. As he reflects back over all he had to endure, he knows that his mother would be proud of him and that God's love never fails.
I know every step I take, God's taking the steps with me. and I am God's soldier. So the faith is everything for me, and I can promise you that. Like, that will never change, no matter how many days I doubt or how many days I cry or be in pain or what I go through. I know God is standing right beside me.
I know every step I take, God's taking steps with me. Shamarco Thomas. You see, it doesn't matter what you've been through or how hard the struggle is. God will walk with you. Just trust him. Shamarco lost a lot, but he learned that regardless of all he'd lost, God still had a purpose for his life. In the book of James, chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, it reads, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." Verse 4, "Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." In other words, look your struggle right in the face and embrace it. And I know it's hard for some of us, but we've got to do it, because in the end, we'll be mature and complete, not lacking anything. We'll be right back after this. Well, I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in for our Top 6 features, and I hope to see you next week for more. And remember, life is short. Go the distance.